The worst drug dealers in history are getting away with billions. Back LA, drug dealers go to jail when they got caught. Corporate boardroom drug dealers can hide behind bankruptcy and keep most of their billions when they get in trouble. That's the annoying takeaway from a newly approved bankruptcy settlement that will let the most notorious drug pushers in history who got the country hooked on painkillers that claimed hundreds of thousands of lives get immunity from future lawsuits related to the opioid epidemic they helped create. Not everyone has brought in the deal, and it will certainly face the appeals in court. For now, the Zachary family, whose company Purdue Pharma developed and pushed the OxyContin, which it said was not addictive and made them billionaires in the process, will pay money $4.3 billion for individual payments to victims of opioids and addiction programs. But the family itself won't suffer much. Their current wealth may exceed $11 billion, according to Forbes. One issue here is the wealth they were extracted from the companies hidden in the bramble of companies, trust, and real estate. Read more details on the bankruptcy deal here. Other companies, including Johnson & Johnson, could also agree to settlement, perhaps worth far more money, but it's Purdue and Zachary's most linked to the opioid crisis. Who support these deals? In addition to the company's creators, it was signed up on by a federal bankruptcy judge in New York. It also has growing support from most state government who wants to make sure the Zacharys pay something even if they are immune from future lawsuit. Who opposes the deal? 9 states have said they might appeal. Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson said it let the Zacharys off the hook and sent a message that the billionaires operate by the different set of rules than everybody else. The U.S. Department of Justice could also join the appeal. The Zacharys will not have to admit guilty or any wrongdoing, but they do face other penalties. These include the Zachary will have to permanently get out of the opioid business. They will have to turn family foundations over the trustee who will use the assets to address the opioid epidemic. They will have to publish documents including their correspondence with the lawyers about the development of OxyContin and how it won FDA approval. Publication of that data could be a remarkable development and change the way Americans view the drug they are sold. Criminals, yep. That Purdue Pharma, where Zacharys sat on the board, broke the law is now up for dispute. The company twice admitted the criminal wrongdoing in 2007 and 2020, and in the years between, as hundreds of thousands of Americans are dying from opioid addiction, the Zacharys were pulling more billions from the country into their personal fortunes. The company first admitted to criminal behavior misleading regulators and the country about the OxyContin in 2007 and agreed to pay $700 million as part of the case brought in Virginia. In 2020, the company again admitted criminal wrongdoing, agreeing to the $8.1 billion settlement with the government, and while family members were not charged in the proceeding, for the Zacharys to kick in $225 million. But since the family had already extracted billions from the company, it did have the billions to pay criminal fine, which made the U.S. government just another creditor in the bankruptcy, which brings us to today. The deal does protect members of family from criminal charges, but they are not currently any of those. Bankruptcy is a sneaky way to stop lawsuit. Companies and organizations have taken to using bankruptcy court settlement to shield themselves from lawsuit. A proposal in Congress would seek to end that process, variations of which have been utilized by USA Gymnastics and the Boy Scouts to avoid the lawsuit. US Gymnastics on Tuesday proposed a $425 million settlement with sexual abuse victims as part of the bankruptcy proceedings begun in 2018 after the Larry Nassar sexual abuse scandal. Even supporters of the deal have said it uncovers a kink in the justice system. This case has also shown us that our legal system needs to change so that billionaires are not never allowed to manipulate the bankruptcy system, said Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey at a press conference announcing her support for the outline of the deal back in July. Where is the secular fortune? In the years between Purdue's first and second criminal settlement, the settlers are busy reaping billions in profits from Purdue, borrowing billions in the U.S. and other countries, which would make it very difficult to claw them back in lawsuit. Are the settlers sorry? Doesn't seem like it. The bankruptcy judge Robert Drain nothing. They wouldn't have to admit wrongdoing in the settlement, said a forced apology is not really an apology, so we will have to live without one. During congressional testimony in December of 2020, the former Purdue Pharma board member Kathy Sackler said she had no regret. There's nothing I can find that I would have done differently, she said. All the while, they kept pushing their drugs. The cycle of opioid addiction that cost 500,000 American lives over 20 years, according to the CDC. Half of those deaths are from prescription drugs, and many of the others tracing their way back to prescription drugs continues today.